This tutorial explains how to manage the content on your League Lab website. Some of the widgets we'll be using will involve League information and content that we generated in other tutorials or offline, but even if your site's a blank slate, you'll be able to get a good idea of what the League Lab website can do by watching this tutorial. So we've navigated to the site area of our admin panel, and the main interface in the site area here is our switchboard. The switchboard lets you control what shows up on your League Lab homepage. Let's take a little tour of this page before we get started. First is the switcher that chooses which page you're editing. This is only there if you have more than one sport, because when you do have more than one sport, each one has its own home page. So this particular site has 2 sports, and that means there are 3 pages I can edit: the main home page, the kickball home page, and the softball home page. We're going to stick with the main home page here, but the sport home pages work just the same way. Next, we have the slot navigator here. This shows you the different pieces of your page and allows you to control which piece you want to edit. So right now we're on home page slot 1, and we see that slot number 1 is gray, indicating that that's the currently active slot. If we click on any of these here, then we can move to editing those slots, and you see each slot shows just a brief overview of what's in that slot right now. Over on the right hand side, at the top we have our main controls. This is how we're going to control what goes into this currently active slot. So we'll see how to use all of those things in just a moment. And then down here we have a preview of what's in our currently selected slot. So this shows roughly what's in slot 1 on the home page. The only difference is that sometimes this slot isn't quite as wide as the one on the page will be. You see that slot number 1 is the full page width, where this isn't quite that wide. So sometimes the layout looks a little bit different here. It's really best to use this link to find out exactly how it's going to look in your home page. Now that we know how this page works, let's change some content. We'll start off by editing the post that's currently in slot 1 here. We can do that by clicking Edit Post at the top, or there's also another link down here in the preview to edit this item. So we have our title and header here at the top. I want to change this to Welcome the Users to My Site. And I'm going to use the header to start plugging my next league. Next we have the associated image. It's possible to have more than one image on a post, but it's really not the best. It doesn't look great. So we're going to remove this image and choose a different one. So I click Add Image. That brings up my photo library, and I can choose any of these images here. Let's try this one. So now we have our own new image there. We can write a caption if we want. And finally we have the area where all the text is. It's possible, if you want to try pasting some pre-formatted text, maybe from Microsoft Word or from another website, you can try pasting that in here, but sometimes the formatting doesn't work great. Really the best thing to do is to either just start from a blank slate here and type and format your text here in this box, or you can also write your text somewhere else in a regular text editor and then paste plain text in here and do the formatting with these controls here. We do have some nice formatting features here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some text that I already had written, paste it in here, and it doesn't have any formatting, but I'm going to just add, I'm going to make some of these things italic. I will underline the start times, put the dollar amount in bold. These 3 lines here I'd like to be bullet points. And then finally at the bottom I want a link to my league registration. So I am going to click this link button here, and I'm going to paste in the URL that I got from my browser's location bar, click OK, and now that will be a link. Once I'm done here, I click Save. It takes me back to the switchboard with my changes in place. So that's editing a post. Another thing we can do in slot 2 here, we can create a brand new post. So same content editor, just empty. And I'm going to use this space to thank the people who played in my league that just finished, my Summer Kickball League. And again, I have a little bit of text ready. I'm going to just do a little formatting here, bold the name of the champs, and I'm going to highlight the fact that we have some kickball coming up in the fall. I can save that. If you want to add an image, you can go in and edit it after it's already saved. You can't add an image until it's saved. And that's about it for editing posts, adding new posts. But there's one little subtlety that I want to talk about, and that is here when we changed this post, we just changed the post that was already there. But for slot 2, we created a brand new post. So what happened to the old post? Well, it's still in our library, and if we want to use it again, we can. So what if I wanted to find that same post and put that one in slot 3? To do that, I click Select a Post from the library here. This brings up my site content search. I've got a lot of content items here, a lot of posts. I'm going to search for the post that used to be there, which started out League Event Overview. There it is. So if I click this button here, that will add that to that slot that I was working on. So that post that used to be here got bumped out, and then I put it into slot 3. The next thing I want to do for slot 4 is use some content from one of my leagues. If you did the scoring tutorial with me, you saw that we created a team of the week. So if I can use that league content in my website too, if I click League Event News and then I choose an item from the library, I'm going to clear out my old search, and I have this team of the week for the team called Roller Guys and Girls. I'm going to add that to this slot. So that was generated really as a part of reporting the scores and sort of summarizing what happened on that day. It'll be on the schedule for that league, but I can also use that sort of stuff here because it sort of gives a feel for what goes on in my leagues and really just sort of lets people who are visiting the website see the excitement that is going on out in the field. We've used up the 4 slots that were already there. We've changed them into new stuff. Slot 5 here doesn't exist yet, but we can always add more slots. So there's nothing currently here, but we can put something in here. Let's put in the champs write-up for that league that just finished, my Summer Kickball League. I choose the league and division, click Update, and now we have our champs entry. This is another one. This one is being smushed because you see it's really a full width and we're showing it smaller. It'll look a little bit different and a little bit better on the public site when we get to that, looking at the home page. Before we do that, let's look at these other widgets. In slot 6, I'm going to put a mini promo. What this does is it shows the details of the league and lets you put that right on the front page so that if someone is coming to your website and you want you want them to see this league in hopes that they'll register for it, you can put that right there on the main page. So fall softball, it's my upcoming league. The mini promo doesn't actually have a preview because the only way it fits is if it's full width, and you'll see that with the mini schedule too. You have to look at the public page in order to see what that really looks like. Let's put a mini schedule in slot 7. I do have a little bit of a schedule up for that upcoming softball league, so I will put that there. And finally, for slot 8, let's add a photo gallery. I have a photo gallery for that kickball league that just finished up, and I will put that in there, and we see our photo gallery. One thing that comes up with the photo gallery especially, but also with the other widgets, is they require certain information to be there. If you've never done a champs write-up about any of your leagues, then you won't be able to display a champs write-up about any of your leagues. So sometimes if you try to add something, it may say, sorry, you don't have any photos, sorry, there is no champs write-up. And that'll let you know that if you want to display that, then you have to create it first. So we've got sort of our custom content at the top, and we have one of each widget. It's time to go see what that looks like on the main public page. Click here. So we have our home page on our public site here. Let's take a look at each of the items. First was the content item that we edited. Then we have the one that we created a new one, pushing the old one out of this slot. We went into the library and found the old one and added it into the middle slot here. Lastly, we had this league content that was actually created as part of reporting what happened on a particular date. We said this is the team of the week. We were able to pull that and use that for our home page as well. Next, we have our champs entry for that league that just finished up. We have our team pictures, our little trophies, and we have links to the team pages so that we can find out more about those teams. This is our mini promo. It lets us view all the details about this league in case we're considering signing up for something. We can also register or begin our registration anyway right from this main page, so we don't have to go through any extra menus or pages. This is a mini schedule. It shows the next date for the particular league that we chose. In the case that the league is over, we will see the last date, so it looks pretty hard to see if it can find something. And finally, we have our photo gallery. We see the first 5 photos here, and if we click View Gallery, we can see the rest of them. And that's our newly edited homepage. If you have multiple sports, then you can do similar work with your each sports homepage, and you'll have a fully customized website. That's about it for your introduction to editing your website using League Lab.